welcome back. Now, Cape Town public servants have downed tools in a bid to pressure government to meet their wage demands. Unions are calling for a 10% increase, while government says it can't go over 3% with additional benefits. Workers are accusing government of arrogance by refusing to give them what workers deserve in line with the current inflation rate. Let's go to senior reporter Aviwe Mtila, who's following the strike for us, and he joins us now live. Aviwe, exactly what's happening there now? I assume another memorandum of demands will be handed over.
That memorandum of demand being currently signed by the members here, COSATU, FEDUSA, SAFTU, as well as SAPU, the unions on the ground here outside the doors of Parliament. Of course, aggrieved by the 3% wage increase. They say that it's far less than inflation, and in fact, they did not agree with it. Hence, now they're going to hand over the memorandum and hoping within 7 days they get a response from parliamentarians here. In fact, I want to have a word with the General Secretary of FEDUSA, Ajam. Thank you for joining us at eNCA, but maybe let's talk through what's in the memorandum and what you want.
Well, essentially, the memorandum is outlining the demands. We are saying that 3% is simply insufficient when you take into account the erosion of workers' wages over time since 2020. Public servants have not received a decent increase, and at the same time, inflation has simply ran away. The price of food, the price of fuel, and more especially so ESCOM. We are in the grips of stage 6 load shedding once again. And public servants have had to face demotions. Public servants have had to face blacklisting because whilst they have fielded the front lines, they were given the hand and said, sorry, there's no money for you on the back of corruption that has been running ruthlessly.
What was happening then at the bargaining council? Because I'd assume all stakeholders would be sitting down, having a discussion on what's appropriate for the public servants. Did you come to some sort of agreement in the bargaining council?
Well, unfortunately, at this stage, there has not been complete agreement, and we have not reached the majority in terms of the wage agreement that was on the table. And at this stage, the education sector unions have moved ahead because they have felt the plight of our children who are writing their final examinations, but the rest of the public servants are out there. Their hearts are there to make sure that we understand, and we would like the public to articulate and to understand how exactly the hardships of public servants are actually being felt here now. They are nurses, they are doctors, the police services, many others in essential services, and it cannot be right that critical posts are not being filled. Public servants are overstretched, they are burnt out, and this is the kind of response from a non-caring employer that we are seeing at this stage.
How did then, because I understand for the last 2 or so months, a 3% wage increment has been in place. How did it get to be approved if you didn't agree at the bargaining council, and how much do you want as public servants?
Well, at this stage, there was a unilateral implementation of the agreement. There was not a majority, outright majority, in terms of the agreement. And what we are saying is that essentially we are looking for an inflationary rated increase. We have seen now settlements in the private sector that have gone beyond inflation to be able to understand the plight of workers in particular, for them to be able to live according to the basics. We are not talking about fancy salaries here. We are talking about people trying to live from hand to mouth in the grips of a post-COVID scenario. So unfortunately, not all parties had agreed to the agreement that was put on the table, and this is what you are seeing now. We are mandate-driven as federations, and our unions have given us a clear intention that they are not willing in any such way to sign that agreement until such time that specific contents in the memorandum have been settled by government. Over and above that, the filling of critical posts, the non-Chinese bargaining that government has been demonstrating now, and we are saying stop this deliberate attack on collective bargaining, come through and understand what is happening. We are not looking for fractional increases in salaries here. We are looking for real increases, and it is not Hollywood increases that we are asking for. It is simply to be able to live according to the normal standards in South Africa.
And just quickly, you here to hand over a memorandum. What happens going forward? Because I understand this is merely a march. What do you intend on doing going forward?
Well, we are expecting government to respond to the demands. There's a deadline within which they have to respond. There are clear outlines contained in the memorandum, and if government does not come to the party, we are really hoping that they will understand the plight of South African workers now during the festive season, more especially so when we are finding that tourists are coming to South Africa. Public servants are fueling the front lines, visas, points of entry. There are so many other elements that immigration, and government needs to understand what the flip side of this is, essentially, where tourists will not be able to come into the country. We will not be able to fully enjoy the benefits of economic reconstruction and recovery, and they should simply understand that a 0% increase in 2020 has fueled all of these, and the levels of mistrust has simply just increased.
All right, thank you very much. The General Secretary of FEDUSA here, one of the federations that are on the ground, of course, alongside COSATU as well as SAFTU there, and SAPU independently, of course, coming here, the union itself, at the doors of Parliament, demanding an inflated related wage increase. At the moment, they've gotten a 3% wage increase, which has been in place for at least 2 months now. And they say that they're not happy at all about it, and they want, in fact, the parliamentarians and government themselves to hear them out.